This is not a werewolf story by Sandra Evans, Chapter 19, where the enemy might be the friend. Thursday morning, I get up and go downstairs before anyone can come and tell me that I can't. I need to see Bobo. I need the cards. My head hurts and I'm clammy, but the sooner Dean Swift thinks I'm healthy, the sooner he'll give me what I want. I stop by his office to ask for the recipe box. The door is open, but he's not there. I step in. Then I turn and look down the hallway, both directions. Nobody's coming. I close the door behind me. I open every one of his desk drawers. I know I shouldn't, but I need to learn the rest of my mom's story. Why did she hurt Tuffman that day in the woods? What is Tuffman's secret? I can't find the box. It must be in the turret. I'm going to have to get my hands on a key. Next stop, kitchen. I left bacon and cheddar omelet and island cobbler in there. I sneak in the side entrance instead of going through the cafeteria. There's nobody in the kitchen either. The search takes a while. There are lots of drawers and cupboards to look through. Finally, I think to look in the corkboard near the phone. An envelope with my name on it is tacked there. I pull it down and open it. Cook Patsy has slipped the recipe cards into plastic protectors so they won't get stained by splatters when she's cooking. She's always looking out for me. Thank you, I say, even though she's nowhere around to hear it. I look at the recipe for bacon and cheddar omelet. 4 cubes cheddar, 1 onion, O, 5 teaspoons honey, Y, 2 teaspoons yogurt, O, 2 ounces rum, U, 1 walnut, W, 1 apple, A, 5 ounces bacon, N, 1 teaspoon thyme, T. I hold my breath until I figure out what's written on the next card. Island cobbler. 3 pineapple, N, 2 sprigs mint, P, 4 oranges, N, 1 egg, E, 3 cups milk, L, 2 teaspoons cinnamon, I, 3 ounces liver, V, 7 cups blackberry, E, 1 cup sugar, S, 7 pats butter, ? I must have done something wrong. Ignore the measurement. I change the P to I. Do you want 9 lives? That's better. Or is it? What does that mean? I shake my head and then stop because that hurts. I look again. Why are there quote marks in front of the D and after the question mark? I add them in. Do you want 9 lives? Is this part of a conversation? I step out of the kitchen, tucking the cards into my pocket. In the hallway, I run into Ms. Turn. I scream like you do when you get caught doing something or being somewhere you shouldn't. Are you looking for Bobo? She asks. I stare at her. Maybe? It wasn't a dream last night after all. The memory of it feels so real. Finally, I remember to nod. She's in here, Miss Turn says. She walks to the storeroom next to the kitchen. I don't follow. I don't want to see Bobo suffering. Don't be afraid. Miss Turn comes back to lead me in. Her hand is cool like it was in my dream. She's a bit groggy from the anesthesia, she says as she opens the door. I put her in here since it's quiet during most of the day and warm because of the kitchen. I step in. There's a pile of blankets on the floor. Bobo lifts her nose. I don't think about it. I just do it. I lie down beside my friend. Oh, Ms. Turn says, please get up. The floor is filthy. I rest my hand under Bobo's muzzle and bring my face in close to hers. I don't think I'll tell you any more of this part. Miss Turn leaves me alone with Bobo for a while. When she comes back, I let her convince me to get off the floor and go get breakfast. It's good to let grown-ups feel like they're helping you even when nothing can help. Everybody needs to feel useful. What I see in the dining hall doesn't cheer me up. Vincent is on my stool. Marianne is next to him. When I come over with my tray, they're looking at something together. I like that scene, he says, but what if you made the bad guy handsome? They look up when I sit down a few stools away. Sit with us, Vincent says like I'm crazy. My new place is next to Vincent and not between the two of them. I try to look like I don't notice, but I feel like one of those reversible puppets. On the outside, I'm a cheerful little Red Riding Hood, but if you flip the puppet over, you'll find a really angry wolf inside. Dean Swift comes into the dining room. Tuffman is behind him. A growl starts in my throat. Vincent looks at me sideways. I tap my chest and pretend it's a burp. Burp. This weekend, Tuffman, you and me, in the woods. I get it now. It's the only way it can go down. When we're both what we are in the woods. Natural law, right? Children, the dean says. The vet tells me that we must prepare for the worst. Bobo is an old dog, but a heroic one. The vet says that her injuries prove that she fought valiantly against her attacker. She lost 3 teeth in the fight. He gives a shaky smile. And it is not unreasonable to assume that she left them deep in the beast's hide. The cougar will feel the bitter sting of Bobo's bite for many days to come. I'm so proud of Bobo. I almost stand up and make a toast with my orange juice. Here's to infected dog bites. Let there be pus and inflammation. But the dean keeps talking. Nevertheless, we must be realistic. In preparation for a memorial service, please write down your memories of our dear old friend. His voice cracks. He covers his eyes. Tuffman finishes the dean's sentence. And give them to a friend. We're going to make a memory book so we can always honor the good times we had with our 4-legged buddy. His voice is high up in his throat, like he's got a lump of tears in there as big as mine. His mouth is turned down at the corners. His eyes are red and wet. He's as sad as I am. I can feel it. There's a word Miss Turn uses, gobsmacked. It means the look on someone's face after they get smacked in the gob. That's your mouth. My gob looked smacked. Nobody can lie like that, not even Tuffman. You would have to have 2 hearts and 2 brains and 2 tongues, not just 2 skins. After a minute, Dean Swift looks up again. Well said, Coach. Because of this attack, nobody will leave the building without my permission. The room erupts with chatter. Then above it all, Tuffman shouts, We'll have that cougar in a cage by midnight tonight. The anger in his voice sends an electric charge through the room. Midnight tonight, he shouts again, and we all stand up like soldiers ready to fight. Dean Swift nods and walks out of the room. Tuffman stomps out after him. Everyone is quiet for a long minute. Then there's a murmur, and the voices get shrill and loud, and they're all talking about the cougar. My throat clamps up. I'm about to start bawling. The doctor said the concussion would make me emotional. He said to try not to think about anything worrisome until I'm better, but everything's worrisome right now. If Tuffman's the cougar and the cougar attacked Bobo, why would Tuffman look so broken up? And Bobo took a bite out of the cougar. Wouldn't Tuffman look a little worse for the wear if he had 3 canine teeth stuck in him somewhere? Look at me. I'm living proof that a wound on one skin leaves a wound on the other. My head hammers. I focus on my evidence. It's like I see it written out on a page in my scientific journal. First, set aside the science and the magic. The Fresnel lens, the spirit annals, and the mitochondrial DNA are all theories. Set aside the coincidences. Look at the evidence. Item 1. Sneaker prints in the mud smelled like cougar. Scents can get mixed up, especially after a rainstorm. Item 2. Tuffman says a lot of weird things and stands too close to me and follows me around. Little John practically stands on my feet half the time he's near me, and last week he walked up to me in the bathroom and said, "The thunder's moving east." What does that mean? But only a pollywog would accuse him of homicidal tendencies. Item 3. My mom's recipe card said he wanted to kill her. It said T wanted to kill her. T doesn't have to be Tuffman. It could be Ted or Tina or T-Rex or Tinkerbell. Why would she call her uncle by his last name anyway? Who does that? But what really doesn't make any sense is this. Why would Tuffman have fallen for Vincent's prank if he was the cougar? When he was shooting the piñata, Tuffman thought he was shooting the cougar. My head whirls. Conclusion: I can't make one until I have my mom's whole story. I look around the cafeteria to calm myself down. Little John is tapping the kid next to him on the head with a spoon. The kid is just shoveling cereal into his mouth like this is a normal part of breakfast. Mean Jack is twisting a wrapped up string cheese around and around. Mark is wiping his face off with the dish rag that's for cleaning up spills. At the little kids' table, Sparrow won't look at me. It hits me. He didn't come visit me. He didn't slide one of his drawings under my door either, like he normally does when some nasty contagious stomach bug has half of us quarantined. And now, every time I try to make eye contact with him, he turns his back to me. I try to pay attention to the funny story Vincent is telling Marianne. She laughs a lot and then asks, "Can I use this in my novel?" I stop listening and start thinking about what's wrong with Sparrow. He's hiding something from me. It feels like an explosion in my chest when I realize what it must be. He must be hiding a bruise. His grandma must have let his mom come see him. She must have hit him again. He doesn't want her to get in trouble anymore because even though she's a terrible mom, she's his mom and he loves her. That's how love works. You can't always stop it, even when you probably should. It makes me so angry I can't take another bite. I put my tray in the dirty dishes bin and walk over to Sparrow's table. I kneel down and put my hand under his chin and make him look up at me. There's no bruise on his face, but his eyes fill up with tears pretty quick. I tilt my head so he can see I'm ready to listen. "I lost it," he says, and makes a huge gulping sound. "I lost your fishing pole." "What?" I ask. I spent so much time on that pole. It's the best carving I ever made. "I left it at the lake on Friday. When I went to look for it after Granny dropped me off on Sunday, it was gone." He starts to cry really hard now. All morning it's been cooking in me, rage, and now it's like when frozen fries get thrown into a deep fat fryer and the oil spatters and jumps. Someone is going to get burned. "You promised." "How could you?" First I whisper it, then I say it louder because it makes me feel good to shout. "How could you?" Sparrow's face crumples. I don't stop. "Tuffman's right," I say. "You are a loser." Everyone in the dining hall stops talking and eating. First they look at me, but my face must be even more scary than normal because right away they turn and look at Sparrow. He can't stop crying, and now everyone is staring at him crying. Good, I think. Now they'll think he's a baby, and he is a baby, because a baby can't be trusted with important things. Sparrow says something, but I can't understand it since he's sobbing so hard. I only hear the word rain. I stomp out of the dining hall and up to my room. But before I even get to the second floor, I feel terrible. What is wrong with me? He's only 5. A 5-year-old is going to lose things from time to time. When I was 5, I lost plenty of things, like the time I lost my mom's favorite bracelet. I remember how she almost started to cry. She was so sad. How she said she got it from her mother, and her mother had gotten it from her mother, and so on and so on. But did she yell at me? No. She hugged me and said she knew I felt even worse than she did, and that even though the bracelet was a gift that reminded her of all the mothers who had made her, I was the gift who had made her a mother herself. She found it a week later in the trunk of my Flintstones car, along with the remote for the garage door, an old slice of cheddar cheese, and 25 paper clips. How many times did I hear her tell that story to someone on the phone, saying it like it was the funniest, smartest thing a kid could do? I turn around and head back to the dining hall. I'll tell him not to worry about it. We'll find the pole, and if we don't, then we'll go out to the woods and look for another straight branch so I can make him a new one. It won't be as great as the last one. That'll be the lesson for him, but it will still be pretty darn good. Halfway down the hall, I slap my hand to my forehead. Rain. That's what he was saying. It's why he forgot the pole on Friday. He wasn't being careless. It was raining so hard and so fast, we all scrambled out of the woods like the cougar was after us. I feel bad, all right, but not as bad as I'm going to feel because when I turn the corner, guess who is standing in front of me with a look in her eyes so mean it could shatter a window or make a building fall down or bend a telephone pole? You got it. Marianne. Was I wrong about you? She says in a very quiet voice. I thought you were different from all the other primates. She stares at me like I'm more disgusting than mushroom casserole. Jack is a real Prince Charming next to you. You know that? I look down. You're out of the book, she hisses, knocking into me as she walks past. You get that? You're out of my novel. I hadn't known I was in it, but there's nothing she could say that would make me feel worse. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. There's a saying for it. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. You didn't get Tuffman's looks, but you sure got all of his cruelty, she calls back. I was dead wrong. She could say something that makes me feel worse, and that was it. I can't believe Vincent told her I was related to Tuffman.